what's up, Nashville? You're on air with Eryn, here with
Charlotte Sands.
Hey, Charlotte.
Hi, how are you?
Neighbor, you live in Nashville.
No, I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, you've been here for a hot minute, right?
Yeah, I'm like nervous to say how long I've been here. It's so long. But I moved here in like 2014 after I graduated high school and have been here ever since. I love Nashville so much.
I have only been here 8 months, and I don't think I'm ever going to leave.
Way.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I'm happy you're here. Hope you stay.
I'm planning on it. Charlotte, we have a guest star with us today who we've just named Raymond after the character from Aquamarine. Tell us who Raymond is.
Well, Raymond is very special. We got him to look, he's a cake, first of all, but we got him to be wearing a similar dress to the Harry Styles Vogue cover dress because that is partially what my song Dress was written about. So we felt like it would be a good celebratory cake for this moment.
You are truly an icon for bringing us a cake. I said that's my favorite food group. We're going to enjoy this in a little bit. Raymond is beautiful.
I know,
I love his hair and his dress.
Him, but I'm excited about it.
A work of art.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, we're loving your song Dress here in Nashville. And on your music video, just as you said, fans are hoping this song makes its way to Harry.
Same. Every day I wake up with one hope, and that's it. No, absolutely. I mean, I like to believe that he's heard it. I hold it in my heart. I have hope that he has heard it. He just doesn't want to say that yet, but we'll see. I'm holding out.
You know, he's very mysterious. He's very private. So
he's just playing hard to get, and
but
I respect it.
I mean, I have every belief that Harry wakes up every morning and brushes his hair and has a little microphone moment with the hairbrush to this song.
And then, plays Dress and starts his day like on a good note every single day. Thinks of me, just simple stuff. I'm not asking a lot here.
So I think Dudes in Dresses is such a look. I love it. Let's unpack this. Let's talk about the appeal of that look and why we should be seeing it more.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that just the confidence of somebody kind of fighting a gender norm or society norm, I think is so much more attractive than people who I understand feeling the need to fit in, and we've all been there and I've been there, but I realized when I became an adult that I've kind of changed my type and that I became attracted to people who were just confident in themselves more than people who had to prove their confidence by doing what society tells you to do. And so I just realized, because of the Harry Styles thing, because of so many other, there have been so many artists for so long that have kind of come out and fought those things. And I think that's so incredible. And I'm just glad I was able to kind of write a song that included my personality and my views in something that was light and fun and pop music,
Now, you even mentioned in that song that the fact that this male character is wearing a dress is probably ruffling up some feathers.
Yeah.
Have you seen that in response to it as well? Have you had people angry that you've done a song like this?
I mean, in comparison to how many people who have been supportive of it, I feel like it hasn't mattered at all to me. I think that people have been bothered about it, but not in a way that they've been aggressive towards me in any way, but more so they've made comments about being like, well, that doesn't make sense. You're saying he, and I'm like, let's have a conversation about this. But I've just gotten so much love. I've honestly gotten such a outpour of support and kindness on social media and TikTok and Instagram and all these things where I feel like there is so much negativity so much of the time that I was so shocked at how many people were so supportive and so incredibly kind to me and love this song, and I'm so grateful for it, and I'm glad that we can all kind of just accept people for who they are and love people for who they want to be, and it's kind of a simple mindset.
You are such an incredible being yourself advocate. That is awesome.
Thank
Yay.
you so much. That means a lot.
So you just also released a single not too long ago, Lost. I love it. It's on my cardio playlist for sure.
Get your heart rate up for sure.
And what I've noticed about that song is that it's so upbeat and you want to dance to it. But, and then it has a classic pop punk aura of, referencing the suburbs and not liking the suburbs,
Absolutely.
which I love. But you address some pretty heavy topics in that for an upbeat, I want to dance to this song. That's interesting.
It's kind of my favorite thing to do is, I remember going to shows for so long of my favorite bands, like we were talking about, the Maine and All Time Low and all these bands that I grew up on. And you would be at their show and be like, this song is so fun, and I'm just here and I'm hanging out with my friends. And then you would listen to the song later and be like, oh, this is actually like very dark and very like emotional. And I love being able to put like kind of harder stories and conversations into songs that you can still enjoy and still dance and like go to a show and not the whole time feel like you're just like want to cry or hug your friends. And I love that stuff too. But I definitely think that there's something really special about being able to be like, hey, I went through all of this. These are things that I experienced that weren't great, but I'm still here right now dancing around on stage, having a great time, and being able to say that it gets better and it got better for me. And we're all kind of different and unique and weird, and we're all on the outside of everything, you know, and it's really wonderful to kind of find those things in common with people and to be able to all feel like outsiders while we're in like this inclusive community together. And so I feel like that's always my favorite kind of song, is the hidden like deep meanings and like the fun upbeat stuff. But yeah, it's a great cardio song for sure. It's like the fastest thing to sing on stage. Every single time I'm like, I feel like I just sprinted on a treadmill every time I perform that song.
Heck yeah. Now, speaking of being on stage and the Maine, you are on tour with the Maine right now. How has that been going?
Amazing. I mean, I grew up on them and I've been a fan of them for so long, and it's so incredibly rare to like meet people that you have looked up to for so long and them just be better than you expected or hoped them to be. And they really are that way. They just are the most welcoming, warm, respectful people, and being on tour with them is them just like welcoming my whole team into their family. And like they every single day they're like, come on the bus, come hang out with us, like we should all go do something together on our off day. Like, and that's really rare on a lot of tours, especially for me being the opener. So I just am so appreciative of them. And if you are a fan of the Maine, you should be 10 times more of a fan than you are, knowing that they are the most wonderful people ever, because I truly love them so much. I'm so grateful to be on it.
Incredible. I wrote a college essay on them and how they treat their fans and how awesome it is, because they are just the real deal.
That makes me so happy to know that like people are aware of that, because they really do deserve all the love and attention.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Now, you claim to not be that savvy with TikTok. At least you did in your most recent video. No, ma'am. You are so good at TikTok. Can we talk about the transitions you were doing in your videos this week? Those were the coolest TikToks I've ever seen.
It's so funny because I really do have so much fun with TikTok stuff. Like, I feel like I was a little late on the trend side of it. Like, I remember throughout, like, the beginning of, like, the pandemic and everything, people started downloading it, and I was like, I'm never going to do that. I am too old for this.
Famous last words.
Yes. And then I got it, and, of course, I went into, like, this black hole of, like, TikTok, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. But I have so much fun creating that kind of stuff, and it's kind of fun for me to be on tour. I'm doing the same show every night, and you're in a van for 10 hours and you're doing all this stuff. And so for me to be able to kind of be creative in a visual way is actually really helpful for my mindset. And even if it's like, oh, what if I high five the camera and then I go on stage and high five the camera when I'm like after the show, and those random things like that, and then seeing them come to life. And it just is really exciting to make for me. And it's just like, it's like having a fun little hobby that also contributes to my career, which is honestly couldn't be better, especially for like my team. They're like, have all the hobbies you want if it's contributing to that. Absolutely. But I appreciate it. I have so much fun doing it.
It's a win-win. We all can learn from you and your TikTok expertise and creativity.
TED Talk. I'll do transition TED Talk.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I'm so curious to know your insight on this resurgence we're seeing of pop punk and punk rock music, right? Mm-hmm. Especially, I've noticed a lot of it's having to do with young female artists that are a part of this resurgence. As a female artist yourself in this genre, what have you seen? What have you experienced?
Yeah, I mean, it's been so fun for me because I grew up on this music. I grew up on Alanis Morissette. I grew up on like Pink and Kelly Clarkson and Avril Lavigne and so many women who I thought were, and they still are, just so cool and so powerful that I feel like wasn't being done a ton when I was growing up in like the pop scene. So it was very either punk or like rock or pop. Those are two separate genres. And I think it was always hard for me because I was like, okay, well, what is Katy Perry? You know, Katy Perry released some of my favorite, I would say, like rock albums or pop rock. And but she was seen as like a pop star, and there was like so much of it where I was like, this is so strange. Like these women are creating the same kind of music but being seen in different genres because of either what they're wearing or like how their voice. It was just very confusing. But I think that now, since this kind of resurgence is so mainstream almost, it's so much, I mean, it's now pop music. It's the same thing, and it's so exciting because now everyone can be like a competitor in like the pop scene, and it's not just this small alt group. It's now like you have a chance to have a huge career and not have to like sacrifice what kind of music you want to make to be a massive artist. And it's so exciting for me to also watch so many women that I love and I get to work with and write with and see them succeed in such huge ways now, and see them get credit for music and the time that they've put in for so long. And it's just such a wonderful thing. I mean, it's like my dream to do like just as many female collaborations in this scene as I can do, and I'm hoping to do as much of those this year as possible. But it's been really wonderful. I mean, I'm just so grateful to be a part of, like a tiny part of whatever this resurgence is, and I'm enjoying every moment of it.
Girl, you are more than a tiny part of it. You even have a cake to celebrate your success. I mean, come on.
I know. I'm like, any excuse to get a cake. I am happy about it.
Now, one last thing geeking out about punk rock and pop punk. You just announced you're going to do a stadium show with My Chemical Romance.
So strange.
How excited are you?
I am so excited. It's like one of those things where I feel like I won't realize how excited I am until I'm like about to go on stage at the show. Like the whole time, I think we're all so used to things kind of like falling out from underneath us over the last few years that I am now like accustomed to being like, yeah, hopefully if that happens, you know? So I'm like still kind of like halfway between like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening, and like just counting down the moments. And so I think like right before I go on stage, I'm probably gonna faint and then be really excited or terrified or both, and it's gonna be wonderful. I can't wait.
All of the above.
Yeah,
all fair reactions.
Yeah, it's like the craziest thing ever. I'm so happy, and it's my first like international show ever. So that's gonna be, it's a crazy first show overseas. So I am very now it's starting to hit me as we're talking about it.
Yeah, there you go. Simply legendary. Well, with all of this excitement, I'm smelling your cake from over here. Let's celebrate and get to it. Charlotte, thank you so much for chatting with us today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yay!
You're the best.